Okay, let's move on to Bell Street. I think that is probably the number one project we get asked about the most. So, would you attribute the timeline of that project mainly, number one, is it really delayed? And two, do you attribute it to the manpower and supply issues, or what are the main factors going into?
And ultimately, we have a contracted period for Bell Street, and it was about 4 years. And so if you're looking at it from the legal aspect, and no, that project is not delayed. In fact, we're still ahead of schedule on that project. What you saw was a big sludge of movement initially. We got a lot done, and we're blowing and we're going and we're doing good. And then all of a sudden we did hit those supply issues and those manpower issues. Our contractor is the same it's Reese Albert, the same contractor that's working on Southwest. And so when they got slapped with manpower issues, now they're having to coordinate concrete crews, and with a concrete going in on Southwest and concrete going in on Bell Street, like we talked about earlier, you got to have the right number of people and the right resources to make those projects happen. And unfortunately, whether there was a manpower or a material supply issue or whatever, we had to kind of prioritize those projects at a time and kind of keep both of them moving at the same time with the limited resources that we had. We did have a small issue where, we talked about the funding problem earlier, and, out at the airport, there was some, they had some monies that were going to expire. And so Reese Albert had to kind of readjust and reprioritize to take advantage of that monies. And so it impacts us. And unfortunately, there's a finite number of people, of crews, of resources, and you just have to coordinate that as best you can and keep everything going. But the project is ahead of schedule. We are moving forward. We still expect it to finish ahead of schedule. We want to see it done as much as anybody else does. We're ready to see that final product as well. We're excited for that, but they're still within what they're allowed to work in, and that doesn't say that we as a city just says, oh well, they're good, they can go disappear for several months. No, it's not like that. There's a lot of coordination, a lot of discussion with that contractor, communicating from our side to them, saying we need to see progress. We need to see a continuation of this project. You can't just disappear. It is impacting our citizens and our businesses and everything that uses that corridor. So you can't just stop. There's a give and take there. And so that's kind of what you see on Bell Street, Southwest, all the projects that are going right now is that give and take. But it is still moving forward. And like I said, we want to see it done, and we're excited to get it done ahead of schedule. So,
well, of course, Bell Street is not solely just the street portions of that. We also, replaced water and sewer lines and moved those out of the roadway, which took time as well. So it's been a big project that took a lot of time because there was a lot of work going on. So on Bell Street, what everybody sees is that last strip over near the sports complex. Right. So I think the big question that we get all the time is, you only have that strip left. Why can't you just finish that strip? But then once that is done, there's still other elements of the project that have to be done. And that's one of the reasons why there's a longer end date, is because you have other items that people aren't going to see, similar to like what you're seeing on downtown Chadburn. Do you want to talk about what those are on Bell Street?
Right. Again, it's the punch list and those smaller things, the striping. We still got to rework all the we're getting a brand new signal there at Rio Concho and Bell Street. So once you see that intersection poured, you will see a signalized intersection work going in place. You'll see those striping operations. And again, it's not just we're going to get in there and we're just going to pour concrete down in Rio. I mean, there's underground conduit that needs to be placed, and tie-ins and sidewalks and ramps and all of those type of elements that go into that. It's not as simple as just pouring concrete on the road. I wish it was, but it's not.